Here's our new brooder that we just made for this year. We got a batch of chicks in there. It's a 3x6 brooder house. You got their feed, more bedding on the ground there. But it's actually up off the ground, which helps not only with predators. We are inside here, but if you'd have this outside, it helps with predators. And it also just makes it easier to do what you need to do to take care of them. So the water and feed and everything is high. I don't have to bend over to do it. And it's got the heat lamp. There's 45 new layers there. You got a golden buff cross and some Americana, 5 Americana mixed in there. And there's also a fence at the top here. I have blankets covering parts of it, just keeping the heat because it is cooler in the shop here. But it feels the summertime, you have this outside, you would definitely need ventilation. So that's why I have the chicken wire on the top there. But yeah, I've been very pleased. I kind of looked at designs and stuff online and figured what would be best. We used to just use a trailer, but the trailer wasn't really big enough. It could handle 45 chicks for maybe a week or two. But this time of year where it's cooler, I like to keep them in the brooder longer until they really feather up so the cold doesn't give them hypothermia or pneumonia. So yeah, this Wednesday they'll be 2 weeks old, and they're still huddling by the heat because they still need heat. And as I'm talking, they're probably getting a little cold because I have the lid open. But as you can see, there's plenty of room for them in here yet. So I've been kind of curious at 45, let's just say 50 birds in here. How long can you keep them in here and still keep a sanitary, not crowded condition for them? So I just use wood chips. A lot of people will use wood shavings, and people will tell you not to use wood chips because it's hard on their feet. It might be a little rougher, but I've never had issues with wood chips. If anything, I like wood chips because they're not as light and dusty as shavings, things like that, because that's the big thing is if you have loose bedding that's light, they'll scratch it up and kind of create a lot of dust that way. But the bigger wood chips, I have no problems as far as their feet. I think a lot of it is if there's sharp edges there, they might kind of be hard on their feet. But I've never had chickens show any sort of like bumblefoot or anything that would be a sign that their feet had some sort of injury. So yeah, that's the setup. So yeah, I mean, if in the summertime, you easily could do 100 chicks in here. If you're only going to keep them in here for 1 to 2 weeks, which if it's hot enough outside, you don't need to keep them in here much longer than, for sure not past 2 weeks. But right now you can already see they're starting to have feathers, which means that they are able to regulate their body temperature a little bit better once they have feathers. When they just have hair, they can't regulate their body temperature well at all. That's why you need to give them the heat. But the feathers, once they start feathering up, then they can better do that and not lose their body heat. And usually about 2 weeks is pretty safe that they have enough feathers that if it's warm enough out, that you can put them out. So at 2 weeks, 100 chicks in here, usually at 2 weeks, it would still be comfortable for them. If you could then make sure that you could get them out. But now it's still cool. So I'll probably keep them in here for at least 3 weeks. But by then they still have plenty of room. So it's better for them to be in here warm than try to get them out too quick, because you want to give them room. But if you're putting them out in an environment that's still cold and not comfortable for them, it's in the end it's gonna be very detrimental to their health and cause a lot of illness, sickness, and probably death. So yeah, that's the brooder house, and they're definitely very happy. They're chirping. A little chirping is great to hear. If it's deadly quiet, then there could be something wrong. Usually, a lot of times if a predator is getting them, that usually scares them to where they're just quiet. They won't make any noise. Or yeah, if they're not, if they're too cold, if they're not warm enough, then they'll be kind of stressed and agitated. They'll be making a lot of peeping. But yeah, just light chirping like that is good to hear. They're definitely already showing some of their natural instincts, sizing each other up, trying to show who's the higher chick or chicken on the pecking order. So, thanks for watching our brooder setup. And this was all just 2x4s, scrap plywood and stuff laying around. And it's worked very well. And so when this here, I didn't show you, but when they're done, this here will drop the front, and then we can clean out all their bedding and compost it. So, yep. Until next time, eat well, live well.